Well, hello there, this is Shane from Shane's Books and Review, and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. What are we going to be talking about? Well, B.V. Larson had a book that came out, snuck up on me, called Glass World, so let's go ahead and knock that out. The narrations were done by Mark Boyette, and he does a fantastic job as usual. It's kind of known that this is a pulp series, right? It's not a secret, although it is kind of a dirty secret for me that I enjoy reading them, but whenever you have a pulp series, there's a particular rhythm, kind of like spaghetti westerns back in the past, right? There's this thing that happens at the end of the book that translates into the next book, cliffhanger. It might be formulated, however, it's enjoyable because you can kind of get surprised from time to time. And this book, it surprised me. So, is it going to win any literary things? Maybe the series will over the course of time. When it comes to sci-fi, B.V. Larson, I think. As far as the narrations, Mark Boyette, the dude kills it pretty much every time. Really enjoyed Mark Boyette and his rendering, his reading of this, and of all the books he has read in this series so far, and the other works he's done too. Now, the story, like I said, it kind of surprised me a little bit. We've got our lovable, misogynistic James McGill that really has Earth's best interest in mind in this hand. And over here, we have his dirty little secret that's not a secret, and it keeps getting him in more and more trouble because it's gotten to the point where not only is it known that this man is a womanizer, he likes to take women on dates, he likes to bed them, he doesn't necessarily view it as a trophy, but he does take pride in his adventures. So there's that. But those are like the two primary moving factors, except for right here in the middle, there's a little bit of CYA. And, quite frankly, that might be one of the reasons why I like the guy so much, because he's a very simple creature. Sometimes the problem is he's lonely and he wants to hook up with someone, and it ends up causing an entire book to happen. Sometimes it's that he feels like something isn't quite right, and so he takes a step outside of his bubble and gets poked, and then that makes a book. But essentially, through the storytelling of this, I've gotten a really good rhythm for the way that James McGill is wrote, the way that he behaves. I've been mentioning this in a lot of videos here lately. It's the honesty of the character from the author. B.V. Larson did a really good job with something with James McGill. It was one of those moments where I wanted to celebrate whenever it happened, because I got to this very particular point in the book and I'm like, the book's wrapping up. There's a lot of pages left for this to already be kind of done. So what gives? That was the first thing. I was like, wait a minute, this is unexpected. Whoa, hang on. We've wrapped up in the way that we usually wrap up, but we're still going. Why are we still going? What's the point? What's the reason here? Something's going to happen. That was good. And the reason why it was so good was because I don't usually get surprised by these books very often. Now, as far as the rest of the book goes, the story is actually kind of starting to get a little bit more interesting. We've had a lot of things that have happened in the past with these series, a lot of different alien species that were introduced to the book. And I know in the last one and the one before, I was like, I think we're building up to something again. We're going to have a big pivotal point of something happening, etc. And it's kind of getting to that point. There's the conflict going on with the Rigelians, which are these little bear creatures. These are little hateful hellions. Imagine Ted size, but with razor sharp teeth and a bad attitude. And they completely believe in enslaving things that they feel are underneath them. Not so much for the money aspect, but pretty much the same motivational bad factors of what slavery was originally being used for. Allergies, it's just allergies. Then we have the Skay, and the Skay are like these big AI ships that are hollow on the inside, kind of insectoid type things, walk around on the inside of them and keep them up and running. And if we get inside of them, it's like we're inside of a living body to them, because we're parasitical and that we go around and mess with stuff. But they know it, they're aware enough that they know that's what's happening. Beyond them, you've got the Mogwai and a bunch of the core galactic creatures that sometimes show up, sometimes don't show up now. And it's kind of an interesting thing because the Skay want to take over everything. The Rigelians want to take over their spot and our spot. The Galactic Core is having a meltdown because all these creatures need to have a ruler, but nobody will let anybody take the throne that's been abandoned for quite some time. You have all those things that are happening. It's all the politics and infighting, and it's over the same stuff. It's over resources. It's over what planet can sell this to this. Now that we have that little recap of the entire series, basically, James McGill has gotten himself into yet another situation. Abigail Claver gets a hold of James McGill. They have some back and forth. So James, on and off again girlfriend Galena. He's not tied into a official straight edge relationship with Galena Trural. The big thing that's happening here, moreover, is Galena was once an Imperator, and she got moved out of that. Imperator is kind of at the top of the structure, and then underneath that you have Praetors, and then underneath that you have Primuses. But anyway, there's this big organized structure. She got demoted a few steps because of something that happened. The brass is always trying to push off their failures on the people that are underneath them, and then even if they weren't involved getting the good stuff, the ooey gooey bits, then they'll take credit for it and leave the people that are under them, out to the cold. Galena, whenever she got knocked down, there was this problem. There's this Winslade character, which at one point was kind of like an intern for her. He was just simply a button pusher. He's one of those types that he sits on the coattails of everybody else and rises through the ranks. He's hated by a lot of people in this book, and for good reason. And Winslade ends up actually being the person in charge of everything that's happening on the ship. So this is the question of the week. If you happen to be military or lived in a military family, I know these sorts of books really aren't going to hold that much credo for you, because as far as the realisticness of it, it's not really going to be there. I know that. But it's the camaraderie, politics, just trying to get it done. Does any of that actually lend over to real life? Because for people like me that are a layperson that weren't in the military and didn't serve in the military, we wouldn't know these sorts of things. But whenever we read these books, they're very fascinating in a lot of different regards. And that was one of the reasons that I got pulled into this, was the introduction of James McGill and the way that things started. So that's the question. Does it intermingle at all? Is there any realisticness in the relationships and the back and forth? I would love to know. Please tell me down there in the comment section. As far as user callouts go, these are the most interesting things that Scraps has found from the last few weeks. And thank you so very much for your comments. It's much appreciated. I've finally gotten things to slow down only because of my Sharona Papyrus. You'll figure that one out. Anyway, the long of it all is, because things have slowed down, I'm gonna go back through and try to hit all the comments and reply to them. It's not that there's a huge amount of comments, there's more than there used to be for sure, and that's awesome. I love it. I've been trying to hit the little heart button and pin some comments that were very interesting along the way. Keep them coming. I love it. I love seeing whenever we get to have these little interactions. That's one of the reasons why I continue to do this. I like that. That's really the whole reason why I'm doing that, is so we can build a community of people that love books, specifically sci-fi. As far as the next book goes, boy, we're going to have some coming up. So upcoming, I have Amplitude by Dean and Cole, The Odyssey, yes, The Odyssey, Homer, and Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. Messiah is the second one in the book series from Dune. With that being said, if you're still watching at this point, thank you so much for watching. It's much appreciated. Like, share, subscribe. This is Shane with Shane's Books and Review. Hope you enjoyed the video today. I'm not sure which one of these two videos you will pick, but YouTube wants you to see that one, and this one I think is going to be our most recent one. So feel free, pick out any which one of those two that you like.